Good evening to you all. Today we're going to talk about the fifth episode, covering verse 46 from Surah Al-Anaam. Say, have you considered, if Allah were to take away your hearing and your sight and seal your hearts, what God other than Allah could restore them to you? See how we present the signs in various ways, yet they still turn away. What does this mean? It means that Allah is telling the Prophet in very simple terms, saying to him, O Muhammad, say to those who equate me with idols, those who claim that Allah is just like the idols or who worship idols. Because if someone worships idols, it's as if they've replaced Allah with an idol. That means they're putting Allah and the idol on the same level, because the truth is that only Allah should be worshipped. All right, tell those people who worship idols and don't worship me, who put me on the same level as idols. If Allah were to take away your hearing and your sight and seal your hearts so you couldn't hear, see, or understand, then which one of those idols would be able to restore your hearing, your sight, and your understanding? The source here is Jami al-Bayan Fi Tafsir al-Quran by Al-Tabari. All right, the real question here is how? So, how and when did the Prophet Muhammad carry out the divine command when he was told? Say, have you considered, if the punishment of Allah were to come upon you suddenly or openly, would anyone be destroyed except the wrongdoing people? Allah is telling the Prophet, say to the polytheists, O Muhammad, what if Allah's punishment were to come upon you by night or by day, just as it came to the nations before you? What would your situation be then? What would your condition be if the punishment came to you at night or during the day? That's the point. And then it's like Allah himself is saying, no one will be destroyed except you. So would anyone be destroyed except the wrongdoing people? No one will be destroyed except you, because you have traded faith for disbelief. This was the view of the scholar here in Ru al-Bayan in the interpretation of the Quran by Ismail Haki. He says, have you considered if God's punishment comes to you suddenly, that's the word. The commentator says that or the scholar says it means at night and openly, but he says it means during the day, sir. Suddenly means unexpectedly, and openly means publicly. Neither of these means night, nor does the other mean day. Let's go to verse 48. He says, and we do not send the messengers except as bringers of good news and warners. So whoever believes and reforms, there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. What does this verse mean? It means that the only mission of the messengers, according to the wording except, is that their sole task is to give good news to the believers of blessings in this world and paradise in the hereafter, and to warn the disbelievers of punishment in this world and the fire in the hereafter. Okay, who says that this means that the interpretation of the holy book of God is humiliating? That's good. So what is my comment here? The role of the messengers, headed by the Prophet Muhammad, is to bring good tidings and warn, not to legislate. They have no right to say things, because, dear, there is something I really don't understand much. When the Quran itself in Surah Al-Anaam says, we have not neglected anything in the book. What does that mean? It simply means that the book contains everything. We believe and accept that. Very nice. The Prophet says, I have left among you that which, if you hold fast to it, you will never go astray. The book of God. God said that. What he says. He says, we have not neglected anything in the book. And then the Prophet comes back and says, and my sunnah. Sunnah? What sunnah? Year 49. He says, And those who deny our signs, the punishment will touch them for their defiance. Here, in truth, he was reciting it. Keep in mind that originally it is for their defiance. Let me remove the kasra and put it back again so you can notice the situation. Where did it go? Yes, that's how it is in the Quran, just as you see it. Yafsukun, exactly. But Yahya ibn Wathab used to recite it as Yafsukun. Now pay attention. Here we'll remove the Dhamma and put a kasra instead. He was reading it exactly like that. They are corrupting this Yahya ibn Wathab. Okay, what does it mean? And those who deny what the messengers brought them will be touched by the punishment in the hereafter. Whoever lies about the prophets will go to hell. So in the end, that's it. Where is the source here? Interpretation of guidance to reach the end. Mecca bin Abi Talib. That's it. I hope the verse and everything are clear to you. All right, let's move on to verse 50 to speed things up a bit. Say, I do not tell you that I possess the treasures of Allah, nor do I know the unseen, nor do I say to you that I am an angel. I only follow what is revealed to me. Say, are the blind and the seeing equal? Will you not then reflect? All right, here, what do we consider this as? Last time we explained in the previous verse the role of the prophets. That's done. So here in verse 50, what does it say? What is the reason for the revelation of this verse? Just so things are clear for us, this is the reason for the revelation of this verse. Let me, if you can see the text like this. Honestly, I don't know whether I should go back or keep the text in front of you. But in any case, let's just stay as we are. So, what does the reason for the revelation of this verse mean? That the polytheists, let me come back to you, and I'll bring the text back up as well, so we can keep this human connection between us. What's the reason for the revelation of this verse? The polytheists used to say to the prophet, if you are a messenger, ask God to give us more sustenance instead of things being so tight for us. And, tell us what will benefit us and what will harm us in the future. Aren't you supposed to be a prophet and know these things, right? Amazed, they thought he was a prophet. He's just a guy walking around the markets, eating like us, marrying women and all that. So that attitude showed up again. All right. So when the polytheists told him, ask God to make things easier for us and tell us what will benefit us in the future. Why are you acting like you're just one of us? You're just walking around the markets, trading, herding sheep, eating and drinking. And you marry women and all that stuff. So what is it? Came up again. That's the reason for its appearance or revelation. I mean, whether you call it appearance or revelation, it doesn't really matter. That was the first thing. The second thing is the meaning. So what does it mean since they said all that to him? He told him, say to them, O Muhammad, to those people who are asking you for the impossible. Now let's go back to the verse, to the text itself, so we can apply it. Say to them, O Muhammad, to those people who are asking you for all these things, I do not possess the treasures of provision to give you what you want. I don't have it, so how am I supposed to provide for you or expand your sustenance? That's the point. Of course, they're saying to him, tell your Lord you won't find us here. But he's responding to them in this way. I don't know, you choose, and tell them, I don't have it, and I don't have knowledge of the unseen, so I can tell you what's in the past or the future and all that. And I'm not an angel, so I can access what people can't see or do what they can't do. I mean, I'm just like you guys. My only job is to follow the revelation. That's the point of the verse and the story. And he's telling him, say to them, O Muhammad, are the blind and the seeing equal? the disbeliever and the believer with insight. You don't distinguish between polytheism and Islam or between polytheism and faith. So Prophet Muhammad, if you notice, pay attention. He's telling them that he doesn't possess the treasures of God, doesn't know the unseen, and isn't an angel. He's nothing at all. I only follow what is revealed to me. I'm just someone who receives revelation, carries it out, and delivers it. That's the verse. That's my story. But really, I'm nothing at all. I'm not an angel. I don't have treasures. I don't know the unseen. I mean, I'm just a person like you all. That's what the verse is saying. That was the whole story, just so we don't drag on with the verse. Yeah, honestly, guys, that was the reason for the revelation and the meaning of the verse, right? Who's the source here? The intermediary is Al-Wasit Fi Tafsir Al-Quran by Sheikh Mohammed Syed Tantawi. All right, the question here, my friends, is also, how and when did Prophet Muhammad carry out this divine command? And pay attention to this, because verses of command are very different from declarative verses. The regular verses, I mean, like verses of information, stories of other nations, and all those things, those are messages he receives, records, documents, and delivers at any time. But as for the verses of command, honestly, I wish I knew the mechanism of how they were delivered, when and how he conveyed them. That was the question. As for the note or comment, we basically mentioned it in the previous verse. The prophet's only mission is to deliver the message, to give glad tidings and warnings, nothing more, nothing less. Prophet Muhammad does not have the right to legislate or to say hadiths. Period. That's it, plain and simple. And of course, everyone is free to follow whatever they choose. You are completely free. All right, let's take verse 51, sir. So what does verse 51 say? And warn. Warn here is another command, just like that. And warn with it, with the Quran, those who fear they will be gathered to their Lord. They have no protector besides him. Same thing. See, they have no protector besides him. All right, they have no protector or intercessor besides him, so that they may become mindful. All right, very good. Here as well, folks. What does it mean, Muhammad? Warn with the Quran two groups of people. The first group are the believers, those who fear that they will be gathered to, those who fear God and fear that they will be gathered to him on the day of judgment, and no one can help them except him. Warn these people, that's the first group. The second group, warn the people of the book who will be resurrected and held accountable on the day of judgment. I don't know how the people of the book will accept it through the recitations. I mean, these are people who don't even believe in it in the first place. It's not even their religion. But still, the commentator, specifically in Al-Tafsir Al-Kabir by Imam Al-Tabarani, also says that it refers to both these groups, the believers and the people of the book. All right, fine. But really, the Quran isn't meant for the people of the book to be revealed to them. But in any case, we're just saying what people or the sources say with complete honesty. All right, then, that's very clear here. The question is still valid. How and when did the Prophet Muhammad carry out the divine command and warn? When exactly did he do it? When this verse came to him, did he warn them directly, or what was the situation? Did he just let it happen when circumstances allowed? When and how did he go to them? Did he gather them, go to a specific place, or tell one person to pass on the message? I wish I knew when and how this happened. All right, here in verse 52, it says, "And do not drive away those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, seeking his face. You are not accountable for them in any way, nor are they accountable for you in any way. So if you drive them away, you would be among the wrongdoers. Okay, got it. Now here, sir, the recitation. What exactly was it, if you could tell me, please? Ibn Amir used to recite Al-Ghada here as Al-Ghadwa, see as Al-Ghadwa. Sorry, I mean Al-Ghadwa instead of Al-Ghada. He used to recite the word that's in red here as, what was it? Hold on a second, let me get you the text because I forgot. Here's the text, sir. And do not drive away those who call upon their Lord in the morning and the evening, seeking his face. You are not accountable for them in anything, nor are they accountable for you in anything. So you should drive them away and become one of the wrongdoers. Here in the Quran, it comes as Bilgadadi, but Ibn Umar used to recite it as Bilgadwa. As you can see here, let me make it a bit bigger for you. No problem. Here it is, Bilgadwa. All right, that's clear. So that was the recitation. Now, what's the reason for the revelation, or what's the reason it appeared? The group known as those whose hearts are to be reconciled. They used to come to the Prophet to meet him, sit with him, learn from him, or ask him questions. So among them were people from the group of those whose hearts were to be reconciled. Among these people were Al-Akra, Ibn Habis al-Tamimi, Ibn Hassan al-Fazari, and others like them very well. Anyway, this group whose hearts were reconciled came to sit with the Prophet. But what did they find? So we can maintain a human connection. Yeah, and as I'm explaining the verse, those people whose hearts were to be reconciled would come to the Prophet and find him sitting among a group of poor people. Just some folks, wearing tattered clothes and stuff like that. Among them were Bilal, Suaib, and Ammar. So when the group whose hearts were to be reconciled saw the Prophet sitting among these people, they said to him, "What's this trash you're sitting with? Sit up front and let these people stay in the back. They smell like a graveyard. They have a bad odor, so we can sit with you. Come sit with us and keep those people away so we can learn from you and pass on your message. But don't make us sit among them." So the Prophet told them, "I can't just drive them away." Then the ones whose hearts were to be reconciled said to him, "The Arabs and the nobles of the Arabs come to sit with you, and we feel embarrassed for them to see us sitting with you while these slaves are sitting among us, side by side with us. So write us a document or a pledge that you'll send these people away." But the Prophet didn't agree. They said, "Look, when we come, send these people away. When we leave the gathering, then you can bring them back and sit with them, no problem." So what did the Prophet do? He said to them, "Guys, bring us Ali ibn Abi Talib." They said, "He's here." He said, "Call him over and bring us a scroll so he can write this document for us." Okay. So, sir, as soon as he called for Ali to write and for the scroll for Ali to use to write, the ones whose hearts were to be reconciled left. They said, "We were sitting in a corner of the house." Then Gabriel arrived and said, "And do not turn away those who call upon their Lord morning and evening," which is the verse that is with us. All right, so here it is again. The ones whose hearts were to be reconciled said to him, "Why do you sit with these poor, miserable people whose smell is bad?" So the verse was revealed. And do not turn away those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, seeking his face. See, that's how it came down. The verse was revealed, and those whose hearts were to be reconciled, that's not all. Not only was verse 52 revealed, which we're talking about, but verse 53 was also revealed, the next verse that's coming. So the two verses were revealed together. The prophet, peace be upon him, dropped the scroll from his hand. Do you get it? The divine command came down with Gabriel, telling him not to turn away those poor folks, the ones who might not smell so good, you know? So he dropped the scroll from his hand, and then who did he call for? He called for the group whose hearts had just been reconciled or softened, so they went to him just like they did the first time. Of course, now 2 verses have just been revealed to us. So he threw the scroll from his hand and called them, as was said, and then it was revealed. Peace be upon you. Your Lord has decreed mercy upon himself. That's the verse. 54. All right, so within about 5 minutes, the verse was revealed. 52, 53, 54. Not just that, and another verse was revealed as well, which is a verse from the verse, from Al-Kaf as well. And keep yourself patient with those who call upon their Lord morning and evening, seeking his face. Here it is. What does it mean? I've also brought it for you, and I'll show it to you here, just so you know that during this gathering, 4 verses were revealed. 52, 53, 54. And the verse I'm about to show you, sir, here it is. Here it is, sir, and I'll make it bigger for you too, so you really pay attention to the matter. Here, let's make it 60, for example. Here it is. I hope it's clear. All right then. The argument among those whose hearts were being reconciled about the poor people who sat with the prophet led to the revelation of 4 verses, 52, 53, and 54 from Al-Anaam. And verse 28, the verse from Al-Kaf, and it gives the same meaning. And honestly, I don't know, since verse 28 of Al-Kaf was revealed under the same circumstances, in the same place, and for the same reason, why go to Al-Kaf then? But anyway, let's follow the scholars so we're safe when it comes to quoting the verse. All right then. So here, sir, is what happened in verse 52, the issue or the problem, about the poor not sitting with us. That is, the group known as those whose hearts are to be reconciled. When they refuse to sit among the poor, which verse was revealed to us about that? 4 verses, 52, 53, and 54 from Al-Anaam, and 28 from Al-Kaf. All right then. Okay, sir, so who exactly is it? All right, the meaning here as well is that the verse or the verses are telling him, don't drive them away. See what will come back to you again. Here it says, and you are not accountable for them in any way, nor are they accountable for you. What does that mean? It means, I'm sorry. It means just these 2 words. That's it, just like that. It means that neither your livelihood depends on them, nor does theirs depend on you. You are not responsible for their account in any way. Your sustenance, just so you know, is not, their provision isn't your responsibility, and your provision isn't theirs either. That's the meaning of the verse. All right? So you shouldn't harm them or drive them away, because you don't owe them anything, and they don't owe you anything either. That's the verse. The point really is that the scholar here was referring to Ma'alim al-Tanzil by al-Baghawi, which is very thorough. I hope things are clear for you and that, to some extent, the message has gotten across. So that's it. Let's go back to verse 53. We only have 1 verse left after this one, and so we have tested some of them by means of others, so that they might say, are these the ones whom God has favored among us? Isn't God the most knowing of those who are grateful? That's it. All right, so what does this really mean, everyone? We need to move quickly now because we've taken a lot of time. It means that God has tested us. Now, here's the issue from which we took the title of the episode and all of this discussion. Likewise, we have tested the we here, the noon in the word, actually counts as two noons, fatana. And then it was like that, fatten. And then we removed that noon and replaced it with what? The shada and the fatha made up for the missing noon. It was like, there were two noons. So God is saying that we have tested some of them with others, meaning the strong are tested by the weak, the rich by the poor, and the poor by the rich, until the strong started saying, did God really favor these lowly people with faith? Meaning the poor who used to gather around the Prophet Muhammad and sit among them. Did our Lord really grant these people faith and not us? So God answered them, is not God most knowing of the grateful? Meaning by their words, their actions, and all these things. Who is the source here? The source here is Al-Wasit Fi Tafsir Al-Quran by Sheikh Mohammed Syed Tantawi. Honestly, everyone, the questions here are trials. These are trials. Honestly, I deliberately wrote them out for you here so you can follow along with me and see how trials appear in verse 13, meaning, as the commentator says, we have been tested. How does it come to mean trial and test in Al-Anaam 53? The one we just mentioned a moment ago. And it comes to mean disbelief and polytheism in the verses I'm about to tell you about. And fitna is worse than killing. The dead is trial and test worse than killing? The fitna means disbelief and polytheism to Al-Baqarah 190. And fight them until there is no more fitna. Al-Baqarah 193. So they follow what is ambiguous from it, seeking fitna. Al Imran 7. All of this we've already explained. We've interpreted and summarized it like this. The meaning of fitna is disbelief and polytheism in all the verses we've mentioned. In the coming verses, if you do not do it, there will be fitna. Al-Anfal 73. Because pay attention. This is fitn right here. Here it is. Here are these fitn. The one in 53, this one will change its color for you. Good. Here are these fitn. And this fitna. This fitna. And this fitna. And this fitna. And the fitna from Al-Anfal. They all have the same root, which is fatana. So how can it sometimes mean trial and other times mean disbelief or polytheism? Honestly, I really don't get it. Pay attention, here's the verse. Here's the story. And then, man, if that's how it is, isn't the language flexible with us? He could have just replaced fitn with the word balana or ibtalana, because that word is used in the Quran 38 times. Balana and ibtalana mean test or trial. Like, take this for example, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger. Al-Baqarah, verse 155. Indeed, Allah is testing you with a river. Al-Baqarah, verse 249. Mubtali means testing you. See, it comes up everywhere. He will surely test you in your wealth. Al Imran, verse 186. Allah will surely test you with something. Al-Ma'idah, verse 94. That he may test you in what he has given you. Al-Anaam, verse 165. And we will surely test you until we make evident those of you who strive, and so on. Muhammad, verse 31. Indeed, we have tested them just as we tested the owners of the garden. Al-Kalam, verse 17. So, sir, you have both bala, trial, and ibtala, test. And we test you, we will surely test you, and you will surely be tested in all forms. So my question here is, why is that? I mean, wouldn't it have been easier to just say, we have tried we have tested or we have put to trial instead. That's the issue, so I don't understand how. Fat Anna changed from meaning disbelief and polytheism to meaning test and trial. I honestly don't understand that. Verse 54 says, "And when those who believe in our signs come to you, say, 'Peace be upon you. Your Lord has decreed mercy upon himself, that whoever among you does wrong out of ignorance and then repents and makes amends, then surely he is forgiving, merciful.'" The truth is, there are reasons behind the revelation of this verse. So, what should we say? We can say that there are three reasons for its revelation, or three opinions about its revelation. The first opinion is that a group of people, a group of men, said to the prophet, "We have committed many sins, O messenger of God." The prophet remained silent, and then the verse was revealed. That's the first opinion. The second opinion says that when God forbade the prophet from driving the poor and the slaves out of his gathering, this verse was also revealed. Remember, verses 52 to 54 were revealed when those to be reconciled told him, "You drove them away." He denied it, but then leaned towards driving them out. So the verse was revealed with them. That's the verse, the second opinion. The third opinion says no. Says this. It says that it was revealed when Umar ibn al-Khattab asked the prophet to seat the poor at the back during gatherings, meaning to move them to the back so that the nobles and the wealthy would be more inclined to accept Islam. So, as you can see, that's the verse and the topic. So two opinions appeared. So when he made that request, verse 52 appeared, the one that says, "And do not turn away those who call upon their Lord morning and evening." Then, when Umar apologized for his request, verse 54 was revealed. "And when those who believe in our signs come to you, say, 'Peace be upon you. Your Lord has decreed upon himself.'" The verse, mercy. So keep in mind, two verses were revealed because of Umar. Umar made this request to the prophet. You see, what am I saying? Let me come back here so we can have a human connection between us. One time, Umar asked the prophet to delay the poor people in the gatherings so he could attract the nobles and the wealthy to Islam. So verse 52 appeared, "And do not turn away those who call upon their Lord morning and evening." All right. So when verse 52 was revealed, Umar apologized for his request, and then verse 54 was revealed. "And when those who believe in our signs come to you," so Umar makes a request, and a verse is revealed. Umar apologizes, and a verse is revealed. All right, just so things are clear. Who said these opinions? These three opinions are mentioned in Zad al-Mazir, in the Science of Tafsir by Ibn al-Jawzi. In any case, I thank you all very much.